Welcome back to Reality Talks with Terrence, where we don't pick sides, we pick reality. And the reality is this. Say whatever it is you want to say about Charleston White. He a rat. He got the little man complex. But make sure you say he a man. Make sure you say he 100 and he stand on what he say. And if you guys haven't been tuned in, Charleston White was on this podcast, Gangster Chronicles. Game related, not gang related. And they had one of the most notorious, I would say, bloods on the show. And he goes by the name MOBJAMES. Now, this episode made me respect Charleston White so much more. I already respect him as a man for what he stand on, right? What he stand on and what he's speaking about. But this episode right here made me respect him so much more as a man and an individual, because a lot of people can talk that talk, but they can't walk that walk. Yeah, we all have, we all know people, or we all have been in a position where you know someone who would speak a certain way, who would say certain things, but when that certain person gets in front of them, right, they will not have the same energy. They will not say the same thing that they were saying behind that person's back. Now, on the show was very good. A lot of dialogue, a good conversation. But it came a time where Charleston White and MOBJAMES got into an argument. It almost came to fist blows, right? And MOBJAMES challenged Charleston White to say what he's been saying on his internet. And on his internet, Charleston White stands on what he says. Yeah, I want to put the Bloods and Crips in jail. I don't like the Bloods and Crips. You guys are a cancer to the black community, right? He's saying all this, challenging him to say it. And Charleston White stood up 10 toes and spoke on and said what he believes in, right? He said it to one of the most notorious gang members in the world, right? Said it to his face. Said it to his face. And MOBJAMES came back and said, you know, if I was still in it, me and you would be fighting. Me and you would be fighting. And then Charleston White came back and said, well, if I felt that you were still in it, I would have came correct. And then they both stood up. They arguing back and forth, right? They arguing back and forth. You can say what you want to say about Charleston White. He got the little man complex. He's this, he's that. Yeah, but he stood up 10 toes down, 10 toes down behind it. Whether you win, whether you lose, if you believe what you believe in, you got to stand on that, and you got to make sure you're not afraid to speak, right? Speak your truth. Whether you getting beat up, whether you getting shot, whether you getting killed, if you believe what you believe, right, you got to be willing to die behind it, right? And one of the things that Charleston White, right, he always touches on is, how can these so-called gangbangers be almost 50, 60 years old and still do not want to denounce the pain, the sorrow that these individuals have put the black community through? How is it that you 50s and you 60s and you still don't want to let go of your childish and old ways? There comes a time when a boy has to grow into a man, right? And one of the things about when you growing into a man, you gotta realize the mistakes that you made as a boy. You gotta be able to denounce and put away all your childish ways, right? All your childish ways. Yeah, man, Charleston White called Bloods a slob. Yeah, you know, if you don't know about gang culture, if you call a Blood a slob, that's one of the most disrespectful words that you can use towards a gang member, right? And he said this to one of the most notorious Bloods, man. And I respect Charleston White for doing that. Y'all can say whatever y'all want to say, right? But if we had more men like me, more men like Charleston White, who stand on what they believe, no matter who's there, who's around, who got guns, who's a gang member, what they gonna do, if they stand on what they believe and they willing to die behind what they believe, right, then our community would be so much better. You know, all of these people act as if Charleston White ain't who he say he is. All these people act as if Charleston White will switch up if certain people are around him or certain people are in his face. And on this episode, we seen that man stood 10 toes on what he believed, and he was willing to take it wherever it was need to be took to make his point, right? To make his point and let people know what he say he mean. So I love y'all. Y'all keep being positive. Y'all keep staying focused. Subscribe to the channel. Reality Talks Turns. Peace.